More business is taking over. People long for a place to do business in a comfortable, no-pressure environment. So visit Mountain View Chevrolet today or check us out online at hillbillyhandy.com.
Automotive Collision Specialist. Heber Springs area, call 501-362-7783. Mountain View area, call 870-269-4227. Visit acsarkansas.com.
In the forecast tonight, fair to partly cloudy with areas of frost forming late. Light northwest winds and low temperatures around the mid-30s. It should be mostly sunny and cool for Sunday with light northwest winds. Tomorrow's highs in the mid to upper 50s. And overnight into Monday morning, lows are in the mid-30s to around 40 degrees. This is Gina Miller in the Sky Watch 24-hour weather center from ArkansasRadio.com.
ArkansasRadio.com. This is Bob Connor. We got all the stations Jubilee Young on the Wood Songs for Old-Time Radio.
Specific passage, but I remember reading through different mothers in the scriptures and what their personality was like, how they tended to their children, did they seem fulfilled, those sorts of things. And I was like, wow, like, okay, this has something to it, and at the same time, like I said, it was the Lord really shifting and changing and transforming my heart. And then he also with that again, because of the scriptures, began to change my mind towards it, so that my thoughts could change along with my heart.
I love that.
Yeah.
It reminds me of my husband and I. We had a similar story where my husband wasn't sure about having children, and I felt called to marry him, and we were in the dating process, and it was scary for me to not be the one to pressure and to bring it up and to kind of force it down its throat, and to trust God to do that work in his heart, because a lot of couples that do pressure each other, it doesn't end well.
Right.
And
That's right.
it becomes a constant friction, and if you do go on to have children, but one wasn't ready, it makes it a continued challenge throughout parenting as well.
Absolutely.
But I love that the Lord gave you a biblical mindset on parenting, because today it seems like culture says that kids are a burden, they're like, exhausting, that everything. And then you look at the biblical way of they're a blessing, and that's not what's being preached even among Christians.
That's
today.
right. That is right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. And it's so sad because, 40, 50, 60 years ago, it was not uncommon to have large families. It was not uncommon to have, and when I say large families, I'm not thinking 3 or 4 children. My mom, my mother, my grandmother had 9 children. That was not uncommon,
Right.
To have fathers in the home, have moms in the home, for them to train and equip their children. That was just not uncommon. And then you look at today, and it is like, you get the kind of Death Star
Right.
from other believers.
Yeah.
You have how many children?
Right.
Or you want children? You don't want a career? You don't want to do this? You don't want to do that?
Like it's going to ruin your life.
Yes,
Yeah.
Well,
yes.
I can even find that the mothers and fathers who have larger families, they deal with an internal conflict sometimes, wondering, how do I love?
Yeah.
What do people
Is there
think?
enough to go around?
I'm sure that wasn't an issue in times past,
Yeah.
like where you didn't
When
go
resources
around.
were even more scarce.
Exactly, and so I think that in our today's society, to be a believer of the Lord, and to then struggle with wondering if you would be viewed from outside of the fellowship, or even inside the fellowship, with that judgment, is something that's new. And it is uncalled for, but unfortunately, it does happen.
Yeah.
So but we hate to see that, and we try to make sure that we renew our minds, that we don't fall into that.
That's right.
So important.
Because we're blessed in our assembly to see families grow, and so we have to think healthy. We have to go, okay, we welcome them.
That's right.
And,
Well, speaking of families growing, let's fast forward. The Lord laid this on your heart. You have this total heart transformation. What happened next?
A few years later, I would say, we started talking. We went to physicians, we went to, specialists. We were both checked medically. There was nothing wrong with us medically. We still weren't able to have children. I've never been pregnant, so I've never had a miscarriage or anything like that. But we still weren't able to have children, and we had no idea why. Medically, we were fine.
we did. Initially I had some testing, and they were like trying to see if it was an issue on my side, and they were like, "No, that's inconclusive."
Right.
So
Not
he's
good testing.
not nothing that would hinder
Right.
an ability to have children.
Right.
Well, that's
But it just,
maddening.
yeah, it just,
Not to have an answer.
yeah, and then start having people, you know, you kind of get, you start getting a little bit of question like, hey, are y'all thinking about it, gonna have, and we're gonna, yeah, at the Lord's timing, you know.
And now that your heart's open, you're like, okay, God, you brought me
Yeah.
here.
And that's
What's next?
that's exactly, that went through a whole nother spiral for me. And that was like, okay, Lord, you've given me this desire to be a mother, and you've given it to me. You've transformed my heart. You've renewed my mind, and now there aren't any children. You know, what do I do with this? You know, and it was a struggle. It was a struggle with some ebbs and some flows.
Yeah, it was also
hard at times.
it was harder at times because we would know people who would look like they was having babies every year.
Yeah.
You know, or you would hear about families who were struggling, and they went to the Lord about it, and then it happened, and then we're going, okay, Lord,
We are
okay.
praying.
So yeah,
Yes.
and you start trying not to compare, and then you wonder if you did something wrong. Because I think that's something in our human nature that when we don't have an answer for a situation, we try to look back and see what
God's
did we
punishing
do.
me. What
Like, God's
sin did I have?
like, I know you forgave me, Lord, but I mean, is this like a consequence of that disobedience? And so you start questioning your own heart.
That's right.
You know, and then you go to extra far. So you having that commandment break, and then you're looking at someone else's family, trying not to be jealous of their blessing. So then now you got to deal with that. Like, Lord, am I coveting now?
Yeah.
Now am I, you know, and so you have to. It's truly a faith walk, and it's a humbling faith walk
Yes.
because it's a lot of examination, self-examination that I've had to do over the years.
Yes.
And still be a husband to encourage my wife. So I can't be down the whole time, you know, and then my wife is down, and then with two down people is ineffective.
That's right.
Well, and
so-
you feel like your life's always on pause of when is this next phase going to get started? You know,
Yes.
and it's hard to plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, or is this ever going to happen?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
How long was this season of life for y'all?
Okay. I would say from the 09, 2010,
Okay.
early 2010, right before we moved to Tennessee. So I would say from 2010 until 2022.
Whew, that's a long wait.
Yeah.
Wow. Did
And
your
it's-
heart get weary or yeah, what's
Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing is that we have been married
Since
02. So even in that, you know, the transitions and all of that or whatever, it was again ebb and flow, and it was challenging at times. It was, you know, we had to learn how to rejoice with them that rejoice. We had friends who were, you know, able to conceive and, you know, have multiple children. We had family members who were, you know, having multiple children. We had, you know, brothers and sisters in the Lord that we would see every week, and they were multiplying, you know, and it was like,
Or
okay,
adopted.
or adopting, yes. And we were like, okay, Lord, what is your will? What do you want for us? You know?
Now, one thing that did help along the way, and I didn't know it until after I became a parent, but it helped along the way. When we were dating, we were attending a church, and we always had church meetings. Oh my goodness, it was just like we lived there. You could have a cot there.
Doors always open. Huh?
Yes, we always had a service, but we had a brother in the Lord that came. He was an elder, and he was a bishop.
Oh,
He was an elder. Okay, so he came to the church, and he had gave a prophetic call. People would come and get in line, and so we get in line, and I got in line. I said, okay, I'm looking at everybody falling out. Look like they're getting some great stuff. Okay, what am I going to hear? And so he said, you're going to be a great father.
Ooh.
And in the moment, I didn't appreciate what he said, because I'm like, I was waiting for my great whatever else to make me feel like I could just jump over this fuse.